Hey people, Intro Tier 3v3 Faction War. This is White Walls of Calderis with Tyranids versus Chaos Space Marines. For the blue Tyranid team, we have Don't Cry here with a Ravener Alpha currently tunneling. He's got strong offense and a bit of support. There he is with a ranged weapon by default. Alongside Darkar with a Hive Tyrant, a very durable hero that walks through objects and cannot be suppressed. Powerful support and disruption fighting in melee combat by default with a basic synapse. I shall call you Revs. Alongside and rounding off the team is Lokyo with a Lictor Alpha, a melee specialist that can infiltrate and disrupt, some powerful offense and a bit of support. And here's the floating tree that you can never unsee. Revs on the red team is a Plague Champion, starts off in ranged combat with a damage of a time bolt gun, can get melee weapons, some strong support and utility. The Night Lord's elite scheme, I believe. Yep. Alongside Asmondeus with a Chaos Lord, durable and destructive hero, walks through objects and cannot be suppressed, with powerful offense and disruption, fighting mainly in melee combat. The Alpha Legion elite scheme, just getting 3 shots on the Hive Tyrant there. Reyes does get the cap. Rounding off the teams is Centzontotochtin with a Chaos Sorcerer, offensive and disruptive hero with powerful battlefield manipulation and control. I think we're going to see a Doombolts here. Looks like Revs lost his heretics early, got a kill, and can now consume a heretic to get his energy back. There we go. Kicking off in the mid, is it? Yep. White Walls of Calderis, and it's kind of mental. I've always been fond of it. I like maps that are a little bit unique. It has this big garrison in the mid, this raised platform with this contested VP on it, and lots of narrow stairways to get stuck on and obliterated on. But it's kind of fun. I do think it should be avoided in faction wars involving Tyranids though, because of the way the Tyranid base turrets work. With the indirect fire, they can actually fire over these walls and protect the power here, which is unfortunate. Something Relic never addressed. I guess the only way to stop it is just not put a turret there, which could be done. Looks like Revs get some more CSM up, got his stuff decapped there because of the heretic loss, but should replace them, I think. In the north, Asmondeus has found a tunnel and smacks it, or walks on it or something. Got some red though. We have a Ravener tunnel right here. Need to try and take that out because that gives them huge bonuses getting into the mid quickly. I remember when they launched this map, it had a bunch of performance issues for people and they fixed it. I'm not sure how, I'm not sure what they did, but I don't know if they fully fixed it or they just made it better. Maybe they just deleted a bunch of objects or something. Slowly shooting down the node. The Plague Champion has a Plague Sword, a Foul Blade that creates zombies on kill and ignores melee resistance with power melee damage. It's pretty damn good. Here is Reyes, not leading the line, allowing his Spore Mines to get in there first, getting a decent detonation for that damage of a time, and crippling poison on the Chaos Lord. Great tool to use to frustrate that guy. We might see the Combi Flamer up then. Ravener's on the way already for all 3 Tyranid players actually. Aspiring Champion Heretics grabbing a wreck point there. Kicking off in the north. Going for the Power Harass. Are the base turrets close enough to fire? Looks like they're not quite close enough. So you can mitigate it by just making sure you come in from the bottom of the power, as it were. Hive Tyrant gets away. CSM will grab the VP. Got that Zinch worship. And some consuming from the Chaos Sorcerer. Wants to fire another Doombolts out, I suppose. Here's the Ravener Brood. And there's the Burrow Strike. There's the Doombolts. Didn't hit super well. Raveners have that disruptive Burrow Strike. They start off with ranged weapons, but you can specialize them for melee. The Ravener Alpha got himself a melee weapon, the Crippling Talon. Down goes the Sorcerer, doing some good work. Oh, that was Catalyst, sorry, up on the Hormagaunts there. Are they going to go down? Needs to stop the melee stance and just shoot them, but they have got away. I think they could have finished them there. They just planted their feet for a couple of seconds and shot their bolters at maximum accuracy. Hormagaunts here getting on the power. Chaos Lord's having a word with his sword. Couldn't quite get the decap here, I don't think. Raptors on the field for Revs and for Asmondeus, and Revs, I think, making a mistake in not replacing the heretics. More Raveners for Lokyo. Double Tomb against double Raveners is going to be pretty fierce in tier 1 in terms of raw damage output. And here comes Toxin Miasma. Damage over time melee weapon that also debuffs targets. The damage over time is piercing though, so it's not great against enemy heroes and heavy or super heavy infantry. But still decent. And you get the debuff all the time as well, which is probably what you're actually getting it for. Still doesn't want to fight the Plague Champion in melee though with this sword. Especially when he's fully kitted out. Fetid armor for the unholy stench. Can use that to suppress the Lictor Alpha and get stuff away from him. Gets a kill. Oh, doesn't get a kill. Yep, gets a kill from the damage over time. Note that the miasma seems to be on his hands, I guess you'll call them, but his talons do all the attacking, so I'm not sure exactly what's going on there. How is he poisoning them exactly? Little details that don't matter. But you know, when you've casted 2,000 games, these things bother you. Plague Champion's trying to look for him here. Once he starts capping, you'll be able to see him. There he is. Yeah, and the Lictor Alpha needs to get away from the Plague Champion. Counters him quite hard with the heal and the Plague Sword. Raptors doing their jumpiness, and they do suppress when they land. Kicking off in the mid, is it? It is. Darkar with double Raveners. In fact, all 3 Tyranid players with the double Raveners. That's huge amounts of damage potential in tier 1. But the Chaos team could skip ahead, go tier 2, get some Blood Crushers going. Heretics might go down here. Seismic Roar from the Rending Talons. Big danger to those guys. I think they're going to get these Raptors, and indeed they do. Asmondeus just losing sight of them for a second. So much range damage going in. The Hormagaunts are also there, I think. And gets caught in retreat as well. It's not a good fight for Asmondeus. Does go tier 2 though, as does Centzontotochtin. The Raptors of Revs are still around. Double CSM. No Eternal War though. All the power spent kitting out this Plague Champion is almost level 2. Gonna try and defend the power now, I think. Maybe are these guys attacking? We're having a good think about it. Meanwhile, over here we see the base turrets. Look how much damage they do as well. Got to keep away from there, buddy. Plague Champions come mid. Jumps in with Raptors. Flesh hook on the Plague Champion. Here comes more Tyranid stuff though. Needs to be careful with those Raptors. They seem to just... yeah, they seem to get wrecked a lot faster than the Assault Marines do, even though... I mean, it's only... oh, they went down. It's only like a 50 health per model difference. I guess that's quite a big difference when it's heavy infantry and they've got resistance to piercing weapons and stuff. F that double, says Revs. Well, you jumped into the double, to be fair. You took that fight. Double CSM with Eternal War here for Asmondeus. Chaos Lord down in the mid still. Meanwhile, north, the Tyranids are pushing the power. And are they getting in the tunnel? No, they're still shooting stuff. Sorcerer being all sneaky like with his Zinch Worship and double Mark of Khorne. Chaos Space Marines. They should do some serious work against this Tyranid blob. They need to be quick on those Crippling Poison. They were not quick. It has escaped in the tunnel, I think. I mean, you do have the Crippling Talon and potentially double Crippling Poison. They killed one of the Raveners of Don't Cry. Rough end tier 1 for the Chaos team, but they are getting Bloodletters up here as Asmondeus. There's that Seismic Roar. Didn't really hit the Heretics though, and down goes the Hive Tyrant. Mark of Khorne CSM coming in there and doing some good work. So that Synapse Explosion messing up the Hormagaunts and the Raveners. Oh, Asmon could finish off the Raveners there, but does not. Heretics are busy fighting Termagants. 443 to 290. That's got to be a mistake. We have a Brood Nest over here from the Hive Tyrant, providing some reinforcement and a little bit of health regen to nearby friendly Tyranid stuff. Well, nearby allies, really. You can reinforce Space Marines out of a Brood Nest. Finally, Revs replaces those poor Heretics. Got some chosen Plague Marines too. lost his Raptors. Oh, we saw that in the mid, didn't we? That's right. Borrowed trap here for Don't Cry. Have they... No, we do have Aspiring Champions. I thought maybe they spotted that there were no Aspiring Champions, but there are. And as long as the Borrowed trap is spotted like a mine, it's not going to go off. Oh, can the base turrets hit these guys? Are they not close enough? That'd be pretty devastating if it hit that big blob. 443 to 275. Big VP lead for the Tyranids. They do have a Venom Brood and a Tyrant Guard called in at base from Darkar. One of the Hive Tyrant's global abilities. A relatively new global ability. Used to call in warriors. Mark of Corn CSM catching Hormagaunts in retreat. Couldn't quite get enough tax off quickly enough to finish them though. Even with 8 models going in there. Oh, whole bunch of zombies thanks to Nurgle's Rot from the Chosen Plague Marines. That's an ability that's charged up by taking damage these days, I believe. And then you influence enemies around you to turn into zombies if they die. It's really good. So, Bloodletter's Under Worship should do reasonably well against the Tyrant Guard. There's lots of power melee DPS, and this guy has super heavy infantry armor, not vehicle armor. And they've got some Markov's Ink CSM with Inferno Bolts, which also great against super heavy infantry. Venom Brood being chopped up by those Markov Corn CSM, supported by Heretics. Can they finish them? They can. Those Melter Pistols from the Aspiring Champions doing some good work on the chase there. They are getting some kills. I love these. They're level 3 now. Big fan of Markov Corn CSM. That's like melee squads in general, you know. Get in there, mix it up. Although it's not like I use Markov Corn CSM all that much myself. Ravener Alpha gets a decap on the natural power. That's a pretty big deal. And they're putting pressure on down here. Chosen Plague Marines doing their thing. Now they don't have a melee charge. They also... Do they even have a special attack? I'm not sure if they do. Very much counter initiation, you know. Wait for stuff to get to you and chop it up for Nurgle. Plague Champion hits level 3. Noise Marines up here late for Asmondeus, and they've already got the Blast Master. Could do some really good work in the mid, covering the VP pretty much completely. Double the Burrow Strike. A little bit more finesse there. Could have got one Burrow Strike after the other to maximize the amount of time these guys are on the floor, knocked over. There's a Seismic Roar. Can they get a model though? Reyes. Nope. But those guys already lost their Aspiring Champion, unless he just wasn't purchased in the first place. Locking down the power here is Don't Cry. Chaos Lord helps out with some fire. Armor of the Inferno there. Let the Galaxy burn on a bunch of Tyranids. Looks like they got away without a full wipe. And some Spawn Mines waiting around. Raveners dropped in from Don't Cry now. They did lose their Raveners earlier, I suppose. Fully kitted out Ravener Alpha with Reinforced Chitin. Slows units in radius of 6 when they are hit. By 50% too. Immunity to weapon and domino knockback. Domino is when one unit knocks into another and knocks it over. And the Borrowed Trap, of course. Heretics wiped. Those were Asmons, I believe. 346 to 275. They have got the deficit down a bit, the Chaos Space Marines. But they're still getting their power poked at now and then, which is going to slow their pace down. In fact, Lokyo's already tier 3. Termagant's going for a decap on the VP, going to get caught by Aspiring Champion Heretics. That was a bad Doom Blast. Used that way too early. You want to wait until you're fully in melee combat, if possible, to make sure the maximum amount of melee of enemy units get hit by the Doom Blast. Unless you're, you know, desperately trying to slow something down. But in that case, I think it could have been a little bit more patient. Waited for the Heretics to engage fully. Lictor Alpha now has the Toxic Cysts, which not only AoE damage around him per second, yeah, it also gives him huge health regen. Not sure how long it lasts though. Toxic Burst is the ability. There it is. Look at that health regen now. It's like he's got the git source from the pain boy or something. Makes him actually a really good brawler when he gets that. Bloodletter's doing some work, but he does get away. So we've got a very good brawly Lictor Alpha down there now. Level 3. Radiates the Hive Tyrant is level 2. Puts up the warp field. Giving him an energy shield. And that's a circle of summoning from Centzontotochtin. Bloodletters spawning from the circle also allows you to reinforce off it. I don't think your allies can though, it's only you. Doom bolts, a decent doom bolts. Don't Cry putting huge amounts of pressure on this power. It's been decapped for a while, it feels like. Plague Champion is down. 303 to 275. Looks like they have got rid of the Tyranids. And the CSM should be leveling up quite well. Yeah, they're both level 3. Raven Alpha went down there. More heretics on the way for Asmondeus. Not sure what that's about. Maybe they want a shrine and some heretics permanently worshipping the shrine. 290 to 275. VPs are very close now. Chaos Lord has some lightning claws. 100 power melee DPS. With the armor of the Inferno, of course. Where is the Plague Champion? Oh. In the mid. Might get revived from there. If they win a fight in the mid, they can revive him. Lictor Alpha being all sneaky like. What's he going for? Oh, getting in on the CSM here. And tons of range damage coming in from the blob. Bloodletters here. Those are Asmonds as well. The Chaos Lord himself going after the Lictor Alpha. The Lightning Claws should do some really good work there. Now finds some Raveners to go and smack around. You saw that destructive strike. They dealt with it. But I think they're going to lose the central VP here. That Tyrant Guard is healed up for Darkar, and we see a Genestealer Brood. In fact, is that another Tyrant Guard? Is that a different Tyrant Guard? I'm not sure. Carnifex on the field though from Lokyo. Do I remember a Tyrant Guard going down? I wasn't paying a huge amount of attention to the mid. Raven Alpha still down, but looks like Reyes, the Hive Tyrant, courtesy of Darkar, is going to go and revive him. Maybe? I think so. Man, Doom Bolts used on Spore Mines. Getting some good value from your Spore Mines if that's happened then. Couldn't quite get a detonation off though there, it seemed. Here's your Genestealer's melee superiority unit. If they have melee synapse support, they can tear through lots of stuff. Pretty much all infantry doesn't want to fight those guys. There's the Nurgle's Rot. These Genestealers are kind of low and they do not have melee resistance. Sorry, melee synapse. Doesn't even have improved synapse actually. I mean, how worthwhile are Genestealers if you're not going to get melee synapse? I mean, they're still a capable unit for sure. You get so much more out of them when they've got that melee synapse. Chaos Space Marines barely getting away. We've got some Terminators up now for Revs. I feel like maybe there's better choices than Genestealers if we don't have melee synapse. Down goes the Tyrant Guard. But here's a Carnifex with Barb Strangler for Lokyo in the mid. And the Lictor Alpha is going after the Plague Champion here. And the Toxic Cysts evens up that fight a lot more. Is still persuaded to leave, as is all this stuff. Not sure why the Chosen Plague Marines retreated there. They didn't drop a model, and they have good health regen. Here's a Neurothrope on the way for Darkar. Good counter to masses of heavy and super heavy infantry, which Space Marines and Chaos Space Marines tend to have. Chaos Lord's level 4 now. Bloodletters are chasing the Carnifex. They only have power melee damage, so not a massive threat, but they're still dinking at it. That little passive teleport. That was something added in Elite Mod, I believe. I mean, it's been so long since I've played Retail, but I'm pretty sure they don't have that in Retail. The little passive teleport. They do have heavy melee damage though in retail, which is bonkers. Ravener Brood on the way for Darkar. More Chaos Terminators, this time for Centzontotochtin. Already have the auto cannon. What about these guys? They also have an auto cannon. Ravener Alpha is... Oh, that was the Hive Tyrant gone down after he got the revive, I guess. Yeah, it's going to get revived in turn by the Ravener Alpha now. Still has those burrow traps. I feel like the damage synapse would have been a little bit better, since there's aspiring champion heretics around most of the time. Centzon still has some, I think. Yeah, Asmon also has some. There's the paroxysm from the Neurothroat, percentage base damage over time, and since it's psychic damage, extra versus heavy and super heavy infantry. That was a big old nuke from Asmon. Looks like it killed a lot of smaller Tyranid creatures. Not sure if it actually wiped anything off Lokyo. Maybe it wiped one of his Termagants. And Asmon is going to get on the VP here, 147 to 275. VP lead for the Chaos team. They've done well to get themselves back into this game after that rough ending to Tier 1. And despite the amount of pressure that's been on this power from Don't Cry. Maybe Don't Cry should have fought the mid a little bit more. There's a burrow trap. Builds them quite fast. He used to build them even faster, but it was increased a little bit. Chaos Lord got the decap and then runs off. Okay. Barbed Strangler Carnifex and a Neurothrope in the mid is quite strong. And they have that VP. They might be able to hold it relatively well, because the big blobs of CSM are not going to like either of those things. We have a Carnifex now for... Oh, that was Don't Cry's Carnifex. So they have two Barbed Strangler Carnifexes. Although this one might not be able to get to the middle super easily. Look at that shot though from the Barbed Strangler into a Tyranno formation. Pretty effective. Only survived it because of level 3. But hey, Plague Champion and his chosen Plague Marines get through into the back lines. Terminators, what do they do? They teleported back a bit. They can shoot up the Hive Tyrant. Needs to put his shield up. Not sure if Darkar's paying attention here. Reyes, put your shield up, buddy. Just look at the mid though. You have subjugated Gene Stealers from Centzontotochtin, 127 to 272. Big Blastmaster hit. There's a Cataclysm from the Neurothrope there. Raven Alpha's got himself into trouble but does get away. Holding the VP for now. Need to use this Barbed Strangler Carnifex well to have a chance of holding here. Couldn't quite hit all of the CSM. Not sure what they're targeting. Why are they moving forward? Those guys got away, and the Chaos team did push through onto the mid. They have a Las Cannon now, and the Blastmaster makes a big difference. Land Raider Phobos for Revs, and a Great Unclean One for Asmondeus. 3 seconds behind, says Darkar. Looks like he's getting some lag issues, which is unfortunate. Gene Stealer's back under his control. Note that they go to the end of the roster, so don't confuse them with a new Gene Stealer brood. Lictor Alpha level 4 and down. And the Chaos team looking quite strong now, actually. Because of the Terminators, the Great Unclean One gets out, the Phobos gets out. And helps counter the Carnifexes. You know what? Got them down. Well done, Darkar, chasing them down with the autocannon. I wasn't even paying attention. Sorry, well done to Centzontotochtin, not well done to Darkar. Get it right, Kindred. Don't Cry is now down to 3 units. And they bash the power here. 2 to 1 for Chaos. This could be it. I think the Tyranids had a chance on the mid. Just couldn't quite get their Carnifex march going. Darkar, I think, kind of dawdled a bit in Tier 2. I don't think the Gene Stealers were a good pick without the melee synapse. Or even improved synapse from the Hive Tyrant. 80 to 272. Going to get a triple cap here, I think, the Chaos team. Chrono Formation and a Neurothrope, and here's a Great Unclean One. A Greater Demon of Nurgle. Passively damages nearby enemies and has some nasty abilities. Pretty damn effective in melee combat as well, just basic attacks. There's a double for Chaos, and I think this is going to be a Chaos victory here. Even have a contested power populated. The backbone of the Chaos Space Marines carried them through, I think. Good timing and good choice to get Mark of Khorne doubled up for Centzontotochtin. And they kept them all alive, didn't they? All got level 4, I think. Now it's a 2-to-1 cap. There's a paroxysm from another Neurothrope. This is Lokyo's, and there's the game. They have conceded at the end. Hope it's the last game on this map, says Don't Cry. Well, I guess other than the base turret, it's not super Tyranidy, but I still think it shouldn't be played with Tyranids. Level 4 Ravener Alpha, level 4 Hive Tyrant, level 4 Lictor Alpha. I mean, a lot of people just don't like this map. Level 5 Plague Champion with a level 6 Chaos Lord and a level 6 Chaos Sorcerer. I did have the Sword of Flame at the end and Vestments of the Warp. Well, there you have it, guys. Thank you for watching. Big thanks to the players for taking part, and of course, Impregnable, the man with the plan, who organises these events, and I'll see you next time.